They're slick now. Yeah, it is.
It does not.
But we'll get to the bottom of it.
It's right there.
Oh, okay.
It is. What's the original?
Not believe this. And then they give us the worst bus they have. One broke down on us.
I'm gonna try not to make people laugh.
We're all people. At the end of the day, we're all people. Nobody's higher or anything. But they're all chill. No one's.
Call the May Planning Commission meeting to order. Amber, if you're ready, would you read the opening statement?
All right. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. The Augusta, Georgia Planning Commission is a recommending body. The final decision on all zoning matters come before it will be made by the Augusta Commission on Tuesday, May 21st, 2024 at 2 p.m. in the Augusta Commission chambers at the Municipal Building. The Planning Commission makes the final decisions on all variances, including subdivision regulations. A handout describing the zoning procedures from which these cases are decided is available upon request. These procedures also require that any applicant for a rezoning action or any opponent to an application for a rezoning action who has made contributions aggregating $250 or more to a local government official within 2 years of the rezoning application to file a disclosure report with the governing authority. The disclosure report must be filed within 10 calendar days of filing the application and at least 10 calendar days prior to today's hearing. A minimum of 10 minutes shall be afforded for presentation of data, evidence, and opinions on each side of a rezoning petition or a special exception. If more than 10 minutes is afforded to one side, then an equal amount of time shall be afforded to the other side. The Commission does encourage its participation in this hearing, and there is no restriction on who may address the Commission within the allotted time. But the Commission does ask that the public comments be brief, on subject, non-repetitive, and directed to the Commission, not to any individual or group.
Thank you, Amber. Madam Director, are you ready?
Yes, sir, we are. All right. Good afternoon and welcome to the May 6, 2024 Augusta Planning Commission. We have 6 items on the agenda. The first item is Final Plat S-991, which is Southampton Section 11. It is the final plat, a petition by Joe Galino requesting a final plat approval for the Southampton Section 11, located at 2608 Inverness Drive. This project has been reviewed and approved by the Engineering, Utilities, and Planning and Development Department, and it has met the minimum criteria for final plat approval of the 68 lots as presented on the screen. Planning and Development staff is recommending approval of the application. That concludes staff's presentation.
Chair will entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
And that was Owens and Poozer.
Yes.
All right, so that's a motion to approve final plat S91. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. All right, that's been approved.
Item number 2 on the agenda is Z-24-20, and it is a petition by Frank Pittman on behalf of Carolyn B. Gardner Estate requesting a rezoning from Zone R1, one-family residential, and B1 neighborhood business, this is a split zone parcel, to a B2 general business zoning, affecting property containing approximately 3.2 acres located at 3202 Washington Road. This is on page 6 in your packet. Staff will present.
So the summary of the request, the rezoning petition seeks to rezone 3.2 acres of split zoned R1 and B1 to B2 located at 3202 Washington Road. With the intersection of Kings Chapel Road, the applicant seeks to construct a medical office building. The subject property is located within the West Augusta character area. And moving into the findings, the parcel is adjacent to other commercial properties. A traffic signal is located approximately 128 feet from the property's main entrance, which fronts Washington Road. The property also has one additional access point on Kings Chapel Road. The adjacent zoning west, we have B2 and R1A. To the east, B1 and R1A. To the south, R1A. To the north, B1, B2, and R1A. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the property is not located within a special flood hazard area. According to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located at the property. Public water and sewer are present. Public transit is available approximately 59 feet from the property on Washington Road. According to the Georgia Department of Transportation State Functional Classification Map, Washington Road is a principal arterial route and Kings Chapel Road is a local road. The conceptual site plan satisfies the minimum parking requirement for a medical office. Finally, based on the preliminary traffic impact worksheet, the Traffic Engineering Department has indicated that there needs to be a traffic study conducted. This concludes staff presentation.
Is the petitioner present? Sir, if you'll come up and give us your name and address for the record, and give us a brief overview of your petition request.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Frank Pittman. I'm with Pittman and Greer Engineering. We're at 1050 Barber Creek Drive, Building 400 in Watkinsville, Georgia. I'm here today representing the estate of Ms. Carolyn Gardner. As staff mentioned, this is at 3202 Washington Road, at the intersection of Washington Road, Kings Chapel Road. It's currently split zone B1 and R1, and the request for you guys is to rezone this to a B2 to allow for a 2-story medical office building. This location is unique in that it's along a high commercial corridor, but it's still zoned residential because Ms. Gardner, who recently passed away, has been living there for the last 92 years. So otherwise it would have been probably B2 a long time ago. As staff mentioned, we are proposing access on Washington Road, which will likely be a right-in, right-out, and that'll be up to GDOT, and then an access on Kings Chapel Road as well. We are surrounded by other B2 properties and B1 properties all up and down Washington Road. The plan would be to build a 2-story office building, medical office building that would be brick and glass with some metal and stone accents. Okay. Yeah, as you can see there, and those are the proposed look of the building, which would be something kind of in keeping with, brick buildings, old brick buildings along Washington Road and other places in Augusta, but also having a little bit of modern front to it. But we wanted to come up with something that would still be relevant another 100 years from now. The staff has reviewed the proposal and issues and recommended approval. They did recommend some conditions, and most of them we are good with. I do want to discuss condition number 2.
Sir, could you hold off on that until we get to that point? We'll ask the staff for this recommendation.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, so with that, we can talk about that later, but again, staff has recommended approval, and we would ask for you guys to recommend approval as well to, make a nice office building along Washington Road instead of a house. I'd be open to any questions or anything that I can help you guys with. Thank
Thank
you.
you, sir. Is anyone here who's opposed to this petition? Is there anyone here who's in favor of this petition? Any questions from the commission? Staff recommendations?
All right. The Planning and Development staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request with the following conditions. Number 1, the development shall substantially comply with all aspects of the Augusta tree ordinance. Number 2, a minimum of 50-foot undisturbed landscaped buffer shall be provided along any property line adjacent to a residential zoning district or residential use. Number 3, sidewalks are required along all public streets adjacent to the development. Number 4, access on Kings Chapel Road shall align with one of the existing residential driveways across the road. Number 5, approval of the rezoning request shall not constitute approval of the conceptual site plan submitted with the rezoning application. The proposed development shall obtain site plan approval in compliance with the site plan regulations of Augusta, Georgia prior to construction commencing on the property. Number 6, this project shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Georgia at the time of development. Number 7, installation of a 6-foot fence along all property lines adjacent to residentially zoned and residentially used properties is required. And number 8, a traffic study is required per engineering at the same time as the site plan submission. This concludes staff's recommendation.
And sir, do you concur with these recommendations, or you have questions about a couple of them?
I do have questions. The 7 of the 8 we're completely fine with. The one I would like to discuss is number 2, a minimum 50-foot landscape buffer adjacent to residential zone district. Our concept plan, we are showing that along the residential lots to the south. I guess where I'd like to discuss is along the western side, and that's along a recreational use piece of property that isn't a residential use, but it technically is zoned residential. That lot currently does not have a buffer at all from any of the other commercial properties that are to the north of or west of it. We would ask that, I think the minimum by code is 20 feet. We would ask that we'd be fine with 20 to 30 feet, but I think 50 feet is a little detrimental to our plan, and without it being a residential use, it just technically falls under that condition, but it isn't a residential use.
I believe you're speaking of where Montclair has its pool.
Yes, sir.
You would go with 20 to 30 feet?
20 to 30 would be fine with our plan. We're actually showing 30 feet off of it now with our concept plan. 50 feet would be pretty severe on that western side.
Madam Director, does your staff any problem with that?
30 feet on the undisturbed buffer for the pool area? Is that right, that segment along the recreational? But where we back up to the houses on 3205, 3203, and 107 Wood Place, that's where, we really want to insulate them, especially with parking. So, did you have objections along the?
No, we're showing 50 feet on the back. Okay. I'm completely fine with that. It's just along that western side adjacent to the pool lot.
Okay. So I think the staff would be amenable to a western property line landscape buffer of 30 feet and the 50 feet remaining for the southern portion of the lot adjacent to the 3 homes.
And we would add that opaque fence along both sides.
All right, that was going to be my next question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend we approve staff's recommendation.
Second.
That was McKnight and Clark. That was approval of Z 2420. A motion to approve the staff recommendations. Would like to do a roll call vote or all in favor?
Let's just do it all.
All in favor, so all in favor of the approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, so Z 2420 has been approved with staff recommendations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, next item on the agenda, Z-24-21. It is a petition by Augusta Housing and Community Development on behalf of Augusta, Georgia Land Bank Authority requesting a rezoning from R1C, one family residential, to R3A, multiple family residential, affecting properties containing approximately 9.92 acres. They are located on 12th Street. They are 1241, 43, 45, 49, and 1251 and 1257. It is on page 19 in your packet, and staff will present.
Good afternoon. My name is Ashley Catterton, and I am the Development Services Administrator for Planning and Development. And this petition seeks to rezone 6 residential lots, of which 4 are currently vacant and 2 contain dilapidated structures on a total of 0.92 acres. The request is to change the zoning from R1C to R3A to allow for the development of townhouses, in which the applicant's intent is to consolidate all 6 of the lots into one. The overall project aims to address the growing demand for affordable housing within this area. This property is in the old Augusta character area, and for the findings of this report, the project is proposing to construct a total of 10 attached townhouses that will be separated into 2 buildings consisting of 5 attached townhouses each, as you can see on your screens. The applicant is proposing to develop 1,500 square foot 2-level townhouses that include 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms, and 2.5 bathrooms. I'm sorry, 2.5 bathrooms. Each townhome also includes a front-loaded single-car garage. The proposed development would have an overall density of 10.86 dwelling units per acre. 12th Street is identified as a minor arterial road, and Florence Street is considered a local and residential street. Sidewalks are present along one side of 12th Street near the subject property, and there are no sidewalks present along Florence Street. Public water and sewer are present within this area. Public transit is available within approximately 0.2 miles of the properties. According to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the properties are not located within a special flood hazard area. And according to the Augusta-Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located on this property. The proposal is consistent with the aspects of the 2023 comprehensive plan and is compatible with the surrounding zoning and land uses. And at the time of completion of this report, staff did not receive any inquiries regarding this application. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Is the petitioner present? If both of you are going to speak, would you please give us your name and address for the record?
I'm Shanna Clark. I'm with Housing, Community and Development, and I do have the developer here with me today.
Hi, I'm Brea Ells. My address?
Yeah.
Oh,
Please.
Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for North Federal Highway. Dania Beach, Dania Beach, Florida, 33004. Do you need my number?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this project is within the Lena Walker Bethlehem revitalization area. We do have new construction that's going on in the area on Cedar Street. We have done veteran homes for affordable housing, and now we're looking to segue or transition to townhomes to provide more housing units that's definitely needed in the area. Since I've been with the department, it's been vacant. You have blighted structures, and this will allow us to move past my phone would ring. This will this will allow us to move past the blight, the vacancy, and to add to the tax base that's needed in our county as well.
And
You talk.
And also the project was to partner with HCD and understanding the need for density, as Shauna presented also. And also looking at it, the townhomes, yes, but they will be condos just because of the design, the proposed design, to allow the fact that they're not on the main road, they're not a public, they have an internal spinal egress and egress occurring. We met with engineering this morning to discuss the different stormwater issue design that will be required, so that we have a solution. We've discussed this morning how we could solve for that issue. We're looking at a 6 months development construction process. So once we do obtain our approval from the site plan approval, go through our building department review, we're looking at 6 months for construction.
Is anyone here opposed to this project? Anyone in favor of this project? This is going to be an easy afternoon. Any questions from the commission? Staff recommendation?
All right.
Thank you.
Nice project.
All right. Recommendations. The Planning and Development staff is recommending approval of the rezoning with the following conditions. Number one, the developer shall combine the 6 lots into 1 lot prior to submission of the site plan for approval. Number two, the proposed development shall substantially conform to the concept plan submitted with the rezoning application to include elevations, colors, and building materials. Number three, the sidewalks must be improved and/or installed along both streets adjacent to the property and meet all standards of the Augusta Traffic Engineering Department, including handicap access where required. Number four, approval of the rezoning request shall not constitute approval of the conceptual site plan submitted with the rezoning application. The proposed development shall obtain site plan approval in compliance with the site plan regulations of Augusta, Georgia, prior to construction commencing on the property. Number five, this project shall substantially comply with all this project shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the city of Augusta, Georgia at the time of development. Number six, installation of the 6-foot privacy fence along the rear property line of the development intersecting with Florence Street and the side property line intersecting with 12th Street is required. And then number seven, the covenants shall be recorded to address the maintenance of the roads and the common areas prior to final plat approval. And that concludes staff's recommendation.
Do you agree to all the staff recommendations?
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve with staff recommendation.
I'll second.
It's like an easy roll call vote.
I make a motion to approve with staff recommendation.
My second.
And that was a motion to approve Z 2421 with staff recommendations. All in favor of the approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, so Z 24 has been approved with staff
Thank you.
recommendations.
Item number 4, Madam Director.
Item number 4 is a special exception request, application number 24-07, and it is a petition by N.K. Patel LLC requesting a special exception to the zoning ordinance in order to establish a liquor store affecting property containing approximately 0.52 acres located at 2059 Central Avenue. It is on page 30 in your packet, and the property is currently zoned B1. Staff will present.
Sorry, y'all. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Amanda Cruz. I'm a Planner 1 with Planning and Development, and this is actually my first commission. So, all right. To get into the summary, this special exception involves a 0.52 acre tract situated in a B1 zoning district at the corner of Central Avenue and Hurd Avenue. Currently, the site contains an existing convenience store and a small canopy containing 3 gas pumps. The request for a special exception to allow for liquor sales to an already established convenience store. The establishment will not allow on-site premises consumption of alcohol according to the letter of intent received with this application. The applicant requests a special exception to establish a liquor store at the existing convenience store located in a B1 zone. The subject property is located within the Old Augusta character area where redevelopment is occurring in many of the well-established neighborhoods of this character area. To move into our findings, with number 1, liquor stores are not allowed by right in the B1 zone but may be granted with the approval of a special exception. Number 2, there are no prior zoning actions associated with this property. However, there is a special exception from 2022 that approved the convenience store be established with conditions. However, those conditions do not apply to this application. Adjacent zoning to the west, we have B1, North R1C, East B1, and South B1. Number 4, according to the FEMA flood insurance rate maps, the property is not located within a special flood hazard zone. Number 5, according to the Augusta Richmond County GIS map layer, there are no wetlands located on the property. Number 6, public water and sewer are present. Number 7, public transit is not located along this section of Central Avenue where the nearest routes service Wrightsboro Road, which is approximately 974 feet from the property. Number 8, according to the Georgia Department of Transportation State Functional Classification Map, the adjacent road, Central Avenue, is a minor arterial route. And number 9, section 21-2C of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, liquor stores are permitted by special exception in a B1 zone if they generally conform to the following criteria. With the first criteria, the nature of the surrounding area is not predominantly residential with only a few commercial uses interspersed. This is non-compliant with this provision where the north of the property located along Hurd Avenue and Hurd Lane is zoned R1C. The second provision, the property is at the intersection of 2 arterial streets or within 500 feet of such an intersection. Again, non-compliant with this provision where Central Avenue is considered minor arterial, but Hurd Avenue is considered local. The closest arterial intersection is Central Avenue and Troop Street, which is approximately 1,332 feet away. And the third provision, the property is not within 1,000 feet of a public park or recreation area, school, or library. They are compliant with this provision where the closest school is Montesano Elementary School, and it is approximately 1,795 feet away. The closest public park is Hickman Park, and it is approximately 1,373 feet away. Lastly, the closest public library is Augusta University's Reese Library, and is approximately 4,556 feet away. Number 10 of the findings, the approved site plan dated 2/14/2023 satisfies the minimum parking with 25 spaces required. Number 11, the establishment will not be open for casual or social alcohol consumption according to the letter of intent received with this application. Number 12, the special exception is consistent with aspects of the 2023 comprehensive plan, which envisions the rehabilitation and established commercial establishments. Lastly, number 13, the property is situated in the Somerville Historic District. Any new construction or exterior improvements are subject to the Historic Preservation Review and approval. That concludes staff presentation.
Madam? Go ahead.
The staff would like to make one clarification on number 2 in the findings, that last sentence. What we were attempting to communicate where it says those conditions do not apply to this application, we're just trying to communicate that the things outside of the alcohol or liquor store don't apply. So I don't want y'all to think that the other zoning requirements from the 2022 application don't stand. They definitely stand, but we could have worded that better. So I wanted that to be in the record that they are subject to those conditions from the 2022. And this application is to address one of those conditions. So my apologies.
Thank you. Is there anyone opposed to this petition? If you're going to speak, would you come up and give us your name and address, please? And state your opposition.
Yes, my name is Tara Conway. I'm at 1227 Meg Street, which is about 2 blocks from this establishment. I'm also the Vice Chair of the Historic Preservation Commission. Central Market came to us about 2 years ago and wanted approval to add on, which was fine, but we were told at that time it would not be a liquor store. We have you back up to Hurd Avenue, which is completely residential. I've had many phone calls. I think some of them have emailed Kevin with their complaints that they don't want this in our neighborhood. So we're just completely against this right now.
Thank you. And I apologize, I got out of order. Is the petitioner present? Petitioner is not present. Okay, good.
Hello everyone, my name is Paul Patel, 2059 Central Avenue.
My name is Vaisali Patel, 2059 Central Avenue. That's located.
Can you please give us a brief overview of what it is that you are asking us to approve?
Sorry sir, I didn't hear that.
Please give us a brief overview of what you're asking the Planning Commission to approve, from your own words.
It's just a lot of customer requested, say, can we have a liquor store here? That's why we apply for that.
Okay. And ma'am, I need to get your name and address. Thank you. Any questions from the commission? Is there anyone present who's in favor of this petition in the audience?
Mr. Chairman, I have one question for the petition.
Go ahead.
Right, I remember when y'all came in, y'all asked for the variance from the parking and for the addition. At that time, I thought that, I had in my mind that y'all were not going to put a liquor store and that was, part of your petition was that you needed more space for the goods for the community.
Yes.
Yeah. So why has that changed?
Okay. We were putting like a small daily, but a lot of customers tell us you should do the liquor store because we need it here in the neighborhood. So that's why we changed it, sir.
Isn't it true there's a liquor store within a mile of that area?
I think it's probably a little bit too far from, maybe like less than a mile, I guess.
No.
Does someone in the audience have another question? I saw a hand raised. Ma'am? Ma'am, if you'll come up to one of the microphones and give us your statement.
I was just saying there is another liquor store. It's Somerville Ace at the corner of Walton Way and Hickman. It's 3 blocks away.
And sir, did you have a question, blue shirt?
My name is Robert Girardo. I live at 1215 Hickman Road, which is approximately 1 block from Mr. Patel's store. I've lived there on Hickman Road for about 27 years. I lived in Somerville pretty much all my life. I'd like to say Mr. Patel is a very good neighbor. Okay, he really, really is. My concern is that I think like most of the people in Somerville, there is Somerville Ace, which is not called Somerville Ace anymore. I think it's been sold. It's got a new name now. But regardless of that, I personally don't feel that we need a liquor store in that area. If we need anything, we need some kind of a food store for folks who are residents of that area that don't have transportation. We live in a food desert. Okay, if you can't get to Daniel Village, you're pretty much out of luck if you live anywhere at least on my side of Somerville, we're kind of the frontier. We're one block from Hurt Avenue, okay? And so we're kind of the stepchildren of Somerville. And we really would, I mean, this is nothing to do with Mr. Patel. He is a gentleman and a scholar, but just as a neighborhood, I don't think we need it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions from the commission?
And this may be for staff. Is liquor store, is that defined as a hard liquors, or this is the beer, wine, those type drinks?
This would be allowing them to go before the commission to seek permission to sell hard liquor. So they have to get this done before they could even apply, because they don't have the correct zoning to apply to the full commission. So even if you grant this, the Augusta Commission will have the final say with regards to whether or not the alcohol license shall be granted. Did that answer your question? Yes. Okay, all right.
Any other questions from the commission? Commissioner McKnight?
May I say something? From what I know, there is within half a mile, not even a mile, as I've just been told, and I know this for a fact too, the Somerville Ace is right down the street. H&S Wine Spirits is over on Wrightsboro Road, not far from there. White Horse is not, it's probably 2.5 miles at most. Kissenbauer Package Shop is nearby. And I feel that, I mean, that with the neighbors and what's going on around here, that this would be, this isn't a good idea. And I'm going to say this as being a commissioner when it comes to us, that I'm with some of the audience and some others that have concerns here. And that's where I stand on it. So I hope y'all might rethink this. Thank you.
Staff recommendation?
Yes, sir. The Planning and Development staff is recommending denial of the special exception request as it is not in compliance with the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance Section 21-2C concerning the nature of the surrounding area is predominantly residential, and it is not at the intersection of two arterial streets, nor is it within 500 feet of such intersection. This concludes staff's recommendation.
Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, approve with staff recommendations.
I second.
That is a motion to deny special exception 2407 by McKnight and Clark. All in favor of the denial, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone against the denial, say no. You abstaining? Okay. So special exception 2407 has been denied.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Up next, we have item number 5, special exception 24-08. It is a petition by Cole Development Company Incorporated requesting a special exception per Section 8-2A of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance to reinstate special exception Z-20-34 to develop single-family lots not to exceed a density of 3 units per acre, affecting properties containing approximately 59.32 acres at 4477B Windsor Spring Road and 2551 Willis Foreman Road. This is on page 39 in your packet, and the property is currently zoned R1. Staff will present.
Good afternoon. My name is Rachel Martin. I am the Planning Projects Coordinator in Planning and Development, and this is a special exception to the minimum lot width requirement for 2 parcels situated in the R1 zoning district. Parcel 1 is located at 4477B Windsor Spring Road and totals 24.69 acres. Parcel 2 is located at 2551 Willis Foreman Road and totals 34.63 acres. The applicant seeks an exception to the density requirements on these tracts to create a single-family detached residential neighborhood with varying lot widths, and a density not to exceed 3 units per acre. A special exception was previously granted for the properties by the Augusta Commission on July 6, 2020. Under Section 24-7 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, the development has not moved forward within a 6-month period after approval, and therefore the applicant is reapplying for the special exception. The properties are located within the South Augusta character area, and the parcel is adjacent to a few other residential properties. Adjacent zoning to the north is R1C, single-family residential. Adjacent zoning to the south is a mix of agriculture, B1 neighborhood business, B2 commercial, and R1C single-family residential. Adjacent zoning to the east is agriculture, and adjacent zoning to the west is a mix of R1C single-family residential and R3B multifamily residential. The property at 2551 Willis Foreman Road contains approximately 2.95 acres within a high-risk flood zone and 0.17 acres within a moderate to low-risk flood zone, according to flood map number 13245C0205G. The property at 4477B Windsor Spring Road contains approximately 10.36 acres within a moderate to low-risk flood zone and 0.78 acres within a high-risk flood zone, according to the flood map. Public water and sanitary sewer are not currently available. Public transit is unavailable near the properties. The Georgia Department of Transportation functional classification map identifies Windsor Spring Road as a minor arterial road and Willis Foreman Road as a collector road. These segments of Willis Foreman Road and Windsor Spring Road are currently at a level of service A. A special exception was previously approved by the Augusta Commission under zoning case Z-20-34 in July 2020 with the following conditions. Number 1, the development shall substantially conform to the concept plan filled with this application. Number 2, sidewalks must be provided on both sides of the street within the development and comply with ADA standards. Number 3, conduct a traffic study to assess whether acceleration/deceleration lanes are needed. Number 4, all new streets must meet the minimum specifications of Augusta Engineering and Fire Departments. Number 5, the development must meet all open space requirements. These areas do not include stormwater detention. Number 6, provide walking trails or pathways to connect areas of the development. Number 7, extend sidewalk on the side adjacent to the property of Willis Foreman Road. Next, the project shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Georgia at the time of development. Streetlights will need to be installed and operating or bonded prior to final plat approval. Developer will need to coordinate project with AED's widening project along Willis Foreman Road. Development should account for increased right-of-way and storm infrastructure. Detention basin outfall will need to be tied to a defined system. Water quality will be required and should include 1-inch runoff reduction. Existing ponds shall not be used for water quality stormwater maintenance agreement. And the percent of the lots that are 33 feet plus is about 4%. The percent of the lots that are 40 feet plus is about 48%. And the percent of the lots that are 60 plus is about 48%. And at the time of this report, staff has not received any inquiries regarding this position. Thank you.
I think Heather got into some of the staff recommendations.
But that was the conditions from the previously approved special exception.
I understand, but toward the end, we got into another part. Is the petitioner present? Sir, you are a frequent visitor down here.
Trying to develop the city for y'all.
So give us your name and address again, please.
My name's Joseph Galino. I'm Vice President of Development for Bill Beasley Homes, 7009 Evans Town Center Boulevard. As you heard staff say, this is a resubmission of the special exception. We had some other work to do, so we weren't able to get started with it. Plus, the economy's given us a little bit of grief. So we just went ahead and got a new concept plan, tightened it up, and applied for our special exception to hopefully try to get the first section submitted within the next 30 to 60 days.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Present opposed to this petition? Anyone in favor of this petition? Commissioners, do you have any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I have one.
Okay.
So, single-family detached, I'm glad you brought that up. That's great. But I'm looking at this, and all I see is houses. And what I was looking for something that may have something for the occupants here, like, not much, just maybe a couple basketball courts or a couple playgrounds. Is that something that we might be interested in working out here for?
One of the issues you have with what you're calling amenities is the additional cost it adds to housing. For example, 2 pickleball courts, very simple. They'll cost you close to $50,000. I have to spread that $50,000 over all these lots to help pay for that. We are adding some type of walking trail. I haven't laid it out just yet. Walking trails are actually the #1 amenity that you can have. We want to put amenities in all our neighborhoods if it's possible, but right now we're trying to get our costs to a point where you're building workforce housing for just not, I don't want to say affordable housing or even low income housing. This is workforce housing for people who actually out there working. That's kind of what our plan is for this neighborhood.
All right, well, so you're saying that you don't think a couple playground areas is within the budget of this project?
Well, it's not so much in the budget, but then you turn it over to the HOA, and they've got to pay for the maintenance on it. They got to pay for the insurance on a playground. I mean, you have an HOA trying to collect dues, and then you have a playground where maybe a child is swinging, and you can sit there and you can sit there and have them sign all the indemnifications you want. That child gets hurt on a playground system, and then the HOA is paying for it. So that's all that goes into when you look at what amenities can be.
Right. So there's no flexibility on that. How about, this is my dream. Okay? I understand that we're going from 100 feet down to assortment of lower lots in the special exception.
Right.
And I just think that I would like some type of concession where you'd look for, just a couple of playgrounds or a couple, one playground and one basketball court, or whatever the staff can approve after you pass us, something to that extent. The second thing that I was looking at was maybe 2 trees per lot. I think the code only requires you to do 1 tree per lot. And then the third thing, just in the interest of time, is that I know we don't have any elevations.
Right.
But I don't want to slow you down. I'm trying to let you go. Could we get a concession, say 30% of the facades out of brick or stone, or something that you can get approved by the staff after you get past us?
Well, wouldn't you want the market dictate your elevations? That's kind of what you want to do. You can put requirements and restrictions on the housing, but the market is going to take you where it needs to go. And in this area, more times than not, it's brick.
Well, that's my
and
solution.
that's where we're probably
that's the solution
going.
That I haven't brought you before is what you can work out with the staff. What we're trying to do is get you approved and working. But you got to give these people, you got 160 lots in here.
Yeah.
They're going to need somewhere to stretch their legs or to do something. And then also, you don't want a bunch of cookie cutters out there. You're
No.
gonna, and to say 30% would be brick or stone, or as you can get approved with the staff, I think that's something that could make everybody happy here. And with the basketball playground area, or something that you can get approved with the staff. So I'm just trying a little different.
I
approach
understand where you're
this
coming
time.
from, and I'm not unopposed to doing that. If I can pull it off, I'm not unopposed to putting in these amenities. We feel that the market in South Augusta, where this is, will dictate brick. Will it be three-sided or four-sided brick, front brick, combination of brick and stone? Excuse me, my allergies are really bad today.
I get it. I'm just.
It's killing me. You know, and that's what we're figuring. I can look into some area where we might be able to provide a space for a playground. Whether we would put it in or not, I'd have to check with our attorney feels whether that's our liability for that. There is some open space that we could turn into some kind of cleared area that they can put some type of playground. It becomes, again, we always look at it from what the HOA is also going to have to maintain, which are the people that live there. You know, it is a maintenance issue. You have with a playground now. When you say playground to me, I'm thinking swing sets, and that's a playground to me, from where I come from. If you're doing something like that, you have to make sure you have a soft area. That's either going to be some type of mulch or some type of rubber mulch that you can purchase. That all has to be upkept and maintained. Can an HOA at the dues you're charged, can they maintain that? That's a balance, I'm saying, is where I'm trying to get to that.
Let's just say an open area.
Oh, there are some open areas there.
I'm just saying, like for soccer field or half a soccer field or a basketball court that you can work out with the staff and just.
Well, we can see what we can come up with.
Okay.
We're open to it. Ma'am.
The open areas, I just didn't see where the vast members of that neighborhood would have access to it. I see one right off of Willis Foreman coming in right there, but
There's another one off the entrance right underneath where it says current zoning. There's an open space there.
Right there, right here.
Okay, there is another open space right above current zoning.
And there would be, the neighborhood would have access, not just a few homes that back up.
Well, you'd have to walk there or ride your bike there. But yeah, it would be access to, it's hard to see, but right next to where it says current zoning and lot 40A, and I'm actually amazed I can see this. There's a little area, like about a 10-foot strip. That'll be an access to that back area, and then the existing retention pond or wet pond that's there. So you have an area that we may be able to turn into some type of, like a picnic area or something where people can go and sit and look over that pond. I saw that pond about 3 years ago. I don't know what it looks like now, but I think it is a continuous wet pond. So it is being fed. Now, whether any fishes live in it, I don't know that. But we intend to use, we own part of it, and the other property owns the other part of it. So something like that could be done. I could possibly clear that open space. There are, with it being that close to Windsor Spring, will that attract other people from other areas? That's another concern. So, I mean, it's something we have to look at this time.
With that thought, although I typically not like to think about Columbia County, but a lot of their subdivisions that go in, people are looking for these areas where you can do trails around these large subdivisions like this. So I would dare say, and that's for the HOA to worry about if someone's going to come from another place, but that typically, I think, makes the houses more marketable. Are you saying that we don't have to worry about vinyl going out into this subdivision, that you're committing to at least front side brick or three side brick?
Say again, sir.
You saying that we're not going to have a vinyl issue out here, that you're going to be one side brick at least or three side brick?
If you've been through Southampton, I think we've gone both ways with it. Sometimes they've all been all brick. Some of them have accepted some vinyl and or hardy plank in those areas. I can't answer that question 100% right at this moment, though. But I do have a feeling that these fronts are going to be all brick, or at least a combination of brick and stone. but you don't want to, you want to try not to create, we want to be able to create different elevation look. And I think that becomes possibly some stone accents around a hardy plank front, which is the same value as brick. But what hardy plank does, it allows you to give it a little color. I mean, brick is red, pretty much. But if you have some accent stone and you probably have some hardy plank, which is cement board, and you're able to paint that a different color, you can get a different look to your neighborhood.
You have no plans to make all vinyl homes?
Say, Kim?
You have no plans to put all vinyl fronts on those homes?
No, we don't want to do that.
Staff recommendations?
Just like Rachel needed some water, I probably need some too, because there are 13 of these. Many of them mimic the previous ones, but I still read them into the record. So here we go. Out of the 13, here we go. Number 1, the special exception shall allow for various lot widths and with an overall density of the development not to exceed 3 dwelling units per acre. Number 2, sidewalks must be improved and or installed along both streets adjacent to the properties and meet all standards of the Augusta Traffic Engineering Department, including handicap access where required. Sidewalks are required on both sides of the internal streets within the subdivision. Condition number 3, a traffic study shall be submitted to the Augusta Traffic Engineering Department to determine whether acceleration, deceleration lanes, or any other traffic improvements are required. Number 4, all new streets must meet the minimum specifications of the Augusta Engineering and Fire Departments. Number 5, the development must provide the walking trails or pathways to connect areas of development and amenities such as small playgrounds and or covered pavilion. Number 6, this development must meet all open space requirements. These areas do not include stormwater detention. Number 7, streetlights will need to be installed and operating or bonded prior to final plat approval. Number 8, the developer will need to coordinate the project with Augusta Engineering Department's widening project on Long Willis Foreman Road, and the development should account for increased right-of-way and or stormwater infrastructure. Number 9, the detention basin outfall will need to be tied to a defined system. Number 10, water quality will be required and should include 1-inch runoff reduction. Existing ponds shall not be used for water quality stormwater maintenance agreement. Number 11, approval of the special exception request shall not constitute approval of the conceptual subdivision plan submitted with this application. The proposed development shall substantially conform to the concept plan submitted with the special exception application. Subdivision development plan approval in compliance with the land subdivision regulations of Augusta, Georgia, as amended for the actual development is required prior to construction commencing on the property to include elevations and a mix of no less than 3 to 4 alternating facades. Number 12, this project shall comply with all development standards and regulations set forth by the City of Augusta, Georgia at the time of development. And number 13, the percentage of lots that are, there's a breakdown on the percentage of lots for, as far as the lot width. That lot width breakdown shall be, there shall be approximately 4% of all of the lots that are 33 feet wide. There will be about approximately 48% of all of the lots are 40 feet wide, and then approximately 48% of the lots will be 60 feet wide or greater. And this concludes staff's recommendation.
Sir, do you agree to all the
Yes.
recommendations?
Yes, sir.
Move to approve with staff recommendations.
Second.
All right, there was a motion to approve special exception 2408 by Cruiser and Clark. Roll call, all in favor? All in favor, so all in favor of the approval of special exception 2408, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, so special exception has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6.
Item number 6 on the agenda is a petition by Mr. Reed on behalf of Melvin Lewis Jr. requesting a special exception to Section 26-1 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance in order to establish a family personal care home affecting property containing approximately 0.48 acres located at 3013 Story Drive. This is on page 49 in your packets. Staff will present.
Hello again, it's Ashley Catterton, the Development Services Administrator for Planning and Development, and we are on our last case. So this special exception pertains to a 0.48 acre property located in the southeast quadrant at the intersection of Story Drive and Wheelus Road, and it is zoned R1A, one family residential. And the property is part of the J.W. Story subdivision and features a one-story, 1,815 square foot residence that was constructed in 1946. The applicant is seeking approval of a special exception to establish a family personal care home on this property. And this property is part of the South Augusta character area. And moving on to the findings, the applicant proposes, again, to establish a family personal care home that provides care for 5 residents total. The residence contains 4 bedrooms and 4 full bathrooms, along with a living room, kitchen, and dining room. No additions have been proposed at this time. The home will be staff operated, which for now includes the applicant and spouse as the caretakers. Both will reside on site, making it a total of 6 occupants for this residence. A preliminary inspection of the home has been conducted and remains pending at the completion of this report. Section 9.3 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance states that if approved, a special exception must be initiated within 6 months of the granting, or the special exception shall no longer be valid. The initiation of a use is established by the issuance of a valid business license by Augusta Planning and Development Department, or by other reasonable proof of the establishment of vested rights. If a special exception is granted and the use is initiated but later ceases to operate for a period of 1 year, then the special exception shall no longer be valid. The closest personal care home is located approximately half a mile southeast of the subject property along Wheelus Road. Story Drive is identified as a local road. The nearest bus route is on Wheelus Road, located approximately 390 feet from the property. The public water and sewer are present in this area. The property is not located within a special flood hazard area, and there are no wetlands located on this property. Section 26.1 of the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance states special exceptions may be permitted in any zone where such uses are deemed essential or desirable to the public convenience or welfare and are in harmony with the various elements or objectives of the master plan and planning document in effect. The proposal is consistent with the aspects of the 2023 comprehensive plan and compatible with surrounding zoning and land uses. And at the time of completion of this report, staff did not receive any inquiries regarding this application. And that concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Is the petitioner present? Yes, sir, if you would give us your name and address and a brief overview of your proposal or your petition.
Good afternoon. My name is Melvin Lewis. My address is 1204 Cobblefield Drive, Grovetown, Georgia 30813. Go ahead.
Shabani Reed. My address is 103 East Hale Street.
And Ralph Reed, same address, 103 East Hale Street.
Our proposal is to open up this personal care home. As staff stated, is on almost a half acre of land. We have 4 full bathrooms with 4 full showers. We're planning to have 5 residents, and definitely all unrelated. So we're just asking for approval for this special exemption.
And on number 3, I actually have a question. It says 6 occupants, but with my husband as well, that would make it 7.
You count as
1. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Is that it? Are there any petitioners present who are opposed to this petition? Any petitioners present who are in favor of this petition? Any planning commissioners have questions?
I have a question. My concern, you mentioned in your letter that was for elderly, but you're not providing any service that that elderly needed, the special needs, for example, if they took a bad fall. So would they have to leave your place if they're not able to be able to walk themselves to a bathroom at the end of the hall?
No, actually, in the future, we plan on adding like ramp and stuff like that if someone does fall, so that we won't have to just kick them out or anything like that. And I would assist them. I actually have my CNA license, so I'm able to assist them with, you know, the walking if they need that help.
Long-term care for them at not nursing home care, but
No.
but living care. And
Yes. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions from the commission? Staff recommendation?
May I ask a clarifying question?
Certainly.
Do you have any challenges with making at least one of the restrooms ADA compliant? Because you've got 4 of them. Is there a time frame? Do you have the ability to make one of them ADA, at least one of them ADA compliant?
I think we can try to make sure it's ADA compliant. I think that's only going to entail like adding some shower bars or something to that effect. So I think we can do that.
Okay. All right. The Planning and Development staff is ready to make their recommendation, sir. The Planning and Development staff is recommending of approval of the special exception to establish a family personal care home with the following 7 conditions. Number 1, the home shall be limited to no more than 5 residents with full supervision. Any live-in staff will be counted towards the maximum occupancy of the home. The husband and wife will count as 1. Number 2, the home shall be staffed on a 7-day, 24-hour basis. Number 3, a driveway shall be installed, a paved driveway shall be installed and include parking for at least 4 vehicles. Number 4, the installation of a fence to enclose the rear portion of the property is required. Number 5, no signage is permitted on the property. Number 6, successful completion of the code enforcement inspection prior to the business license being issued is required. And number 7, at least 1 restroom must be made ADA compliant before they have their 5th resident. That concludes staff's recommendation.
Yeah. Do y'all accept the conditions? Thank you.
Move to approve with staff recommendations.
Second.
That was a motion to approve special exception 2409 by Poozer and Davis. Let's do it. All in favor of the approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. All right, so special exception 24 has been approved with staff recommendations.
Anything from legal?
Need a motion to approve minutes from,
Motion to approve minutes from the April 2024 meeting.
who was it? Poozer? No, he motion, oh, you second, midnight. Okay, all in favor of the approval, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. So our minutes from April meeting has been approved. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Good job. I know, right?